Wandering deep into the woods is bound to give people chills. There's something eerie about the dark shadows, the unknown animals, and a constant feeling of being watched. Is there something out to get you? Number 1. When I was about 10 years old, I used to love visiting my grandma during summer vacation. All my cousins would come down to stay at her home for a few weeks. The best part was that Nana's home had a huge backyard that would just merge into the woods and mountains beyond. Of course, we were warned not to venture into the woods, but one day my curiosity got the better of me. I was hunched over looking at some pretty purple flowers. I heard a loud snap behind me as though someone heavy had just stepped on a thick branch. I turned around, expecting to see one of my cousins trying to scare me. But what I saw made my heart leap out of my throat. I saw something which can only be explained as a half-body apparition. Whatever it was, its torso was missing. And while it seemed blurry, I could see through the portion where the torso should have been. It was almost like moving gas. The lower portion, which was clearly visible, was of a very tall person. As the apparition started slowly walking toward me, I bolted as fast as I could to Nana's house. My older cousin caught me running into the house, and in between gasps of breath, I told her what I had seen. She had seen the same apparition a few summers back, and had been haunting her room at Nana's house ever since. Number 2. Being the daredevils that we were, my friends and I would occasionally go night fishing at a lake deep in the woods to shrug off the stress at work. We were sitting right along the shoreline with a roaring fire keeping us all warm and cozy. Suddenly, everyone stopped talking and listened with bated breath. We were all staring across the lake because we felt like someone or something was watching our every move. We usually thought nothing of the darkness, but there was a vibe in the air that was just bone-chilling. We tried to laugh it off with some jokes, and that's when we heard it. A blood-curdling sound rippled across the silence of the night from the other side of the shore. The sound was unlike anything we had heard before. It made our hair stand on end. The only way I can describe it is that it sounded like a person being gutted alive. There were no words, just the terrifying scream. We all sat there, daring not to move, our hearts pounding through our chests. Suddenly, a second scream broke through the tension, and it was louder than the first. Some of us scrambled to our feet and ran to the vehicles to get some tools to get tasers and other equipment to protect ourselves. It was too dark to drive out of the woods. We had to wait for dawn. We sat there quietly, our eyes fixed on the opposite shore, the light from the fire dancing in reflections across the rocks. Hours later, we packed everything up, alerted the fire rangers, and never returned. Till today, no one has an explanation for what we heard. Number 3. My husband David and I were in the woods, just at the crack of dawn to check out things at our cabin. About midway up the trail, I started feeling a bit sick. So David told me to wait there while he went ahead. I sat down on a log beneath the massive tree, trying to enjoy what nature had to offer. Just as I bent down to tie my shoelaces, I heard a loud whoosh right above me, like someone had tried to throw something in my head. I looked around and didn't see anything but the grass a few feet ahead of me was matted, like someone had just been standing there, or was still standing there. I heard a second whoosh right next to my ear this time. I got up and began walking down the trail toward the car. I called David and told him what had happened and that I would be waiting at the car for him. He said he was already on his way and he sounded like he was out of breath. About 5 minutes, he knocked on the car's window for me to let him in. He was as white as a sheet and was visibly shivering. After he composed himself a bit, he said that while he was coming back to the car, He heard something running behind him but didn't see anything. He froze, expecting to see an animal lurking in the woods. Just then, he felt someone breathing down his neck from behind, and that's when he started running from there, as fast as he could. We later learned that there were several burial mounds of native Indians in the woods.